Now, the South African government and the World Bank have signed or just signed a $1.5 billion loan agreement, which South Africa will be getting this $1.5 billion to grow or to better their infrastructure. This is what the government is telling us as to what they are going to use this money for. Part of this money is going to go to Eskom to fix the issues that Eskom is currently facing, and part of it will be used to apparently upgrade our port, Transnet port, which obviously, hopefully, it gets to improve our economy or grow our economy as a result of this money coming to or coming from the World Bank. But in as much as this is good news, because it will also lead into probably job creation or in some way or in some sort, there is the bad side or the other side of the coin, which if this money is to come to South Africa and it's not being used what it was intended for, then it's going to result into, it can result into various things like our tax increasing. It can lead into inflation increasing, because the money now for servicing this debt, as of end of 2024, South Africa's debt to GDP ratio was currently sitting at 76.9%, meaning that the kind of debt that we have equates to roughly around 76.9% of the GDP that South Africa generates on an annual basis, which you will know that the current South Africa's GDP is around what, $410 billion, which is something that I suppose this is another thing that you will have to look at, because if we have been granted this $1.5 billion of debt by the World Bank, it means that this debt is increasing, and now, of course, the ratio of between our GDP to the debt that we have as a country, it is going to obviously increase now. It's no longer that 76.9%, but it's much more higher. It means that our repayments to that debt have also or just got increased, which is something that we should have at the back of our minds. So these are some of the bad side of what happens when a country lends money. Over and above this, there's inflation. It can trigger inflation, because what some of the governments end up doing, if they think that their debt is becoming so much in a way that they cannot afford to pay it, they try to print money. And you all know what printing money does. Printing money increases inflation. Printing money weakens our currency, which this, again, it's the bad side of what it does. Printing money, or if the government borrows money, if borrowing money continues and it's uncontrolled, it ends up leading into, of course, even the country not being able to attract investors to come and invest. So it does have, this is the other side of the coin that printing money can do to a country. Over and above this, printing money also yield in, or it can yield to higher interest rates, because when inflation increases, you'll know that it triggers high interest rates, which ends up making people not being able to afford stuff, because as inflation increases, inflation increasing meaning that the cost of living, it increases. The price of food products that we use on a day-to-day, it's increasing, and as this increases, obviously interest rates will also increase to try to cap down or bring down inflation, like what we saw from 2022, right, as the government was increasing or aggressively increasing interest rates to try to bring down inflation. And inflation right now in South Africa, it's around 3%, which is something that is very, very good, right? Because apparently what is also happening, this is just off the topic a bit, what is going to happen this year is that people that are working, whether in government, private institutions, that usually get their annual increase, chances are very high that their annual increase are now going to at least be higher than inflation, because companies give you like what? Some companies, most companies will give you annual increase regardless of the inflation. We know by now 4% to 6%, and it simply means that whatever increase you're getting today, at least it is beating the current inflation, which is something that is very, very good. And we all owe this to the SA Reserve Bank that managed to, of course, act accordingly and adjust the monetary policy by increasing interest rates to bring down the inflation. Inflation, remember, it's also a measure of how fast money it's losing value due to inflation. 100 Rand today, what it used to buy 10 years ago, it's not the same as, or you will not buy the same stuff with that 100 Rand today. And this is all because of inflation, money losing value due to inflation. So this, in as much as it's good that we got the $1.5 billion, I think we should use it, or the government should use this money for its intended purpose, and there should be any sort of corruption activities that are found onto this thing, because it ends up making the people that have to pay for whatever happens being us, the citizens. So corruption, what ends up happening is that obviously citizens are the ones that ends up paying, because taxes will increase so that they can capture, or they can get more from all the working people and businesses to pay back, or to try to pay back the debt which they have, which, like I said, as of the end of 2024, the debt to GDP ratio was sitting at around 76.9%. But right now it's more because of this, obviously, loan that we just got from the World Bank. So yeah, man, this is what we read, this is what we are reading, and I thought I'd come and give you this quick video about this, what we just read, and hopefully, like I said, this money is being used indeed to increase the capacity of our ports that are being managed by Transnet, so that we can export more and receive more goods from outside, because with more exports and imports, then it means that our economy will also expand and grow, which is something that we want to see, because at the end of the day, in as much as we may say borrowing money is not a good thing, but if the money is being used for its intended purpose, then it's always a good thing, right? Because then our economy will also receive a massive boost because of this. If they are to use it for infrastructure, for Eskom, for Transnet, it can bring some pretty good stuff to all of us in South Africa, to South Africa as a country, which is something that is very, very good. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this. I think, yeah, depending on how the money is received and it's being utilized, which I suppose we'll see. I know we citizens or residents, we might not have access to how the money is being spent, but part of how the money is being spent we will see, right, as to what really is happening. But the way I'm liking it, look, it's no longer one party leading or controlling everything in South Africa. It's like it's a coalition government, which means that even if there is supposedly corruption that can happen here and there, but I mean, the GNU right now, it's monitoring everything, and I suppose they will search, they will track everything, and probably people will be responsible when this money comes. So yeah, man, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. That is all from me, my dear friends, and God bless you all.